Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Kayla RL1505 and today I'm attempting the DMR only challenge in Fortnite. I never used DMRs, so this is going to be interesting. Let's get into it and see how it goes. I decided to land at the mountain with the chest, but I was too low, so I ended up going into the building with the barrels first. I ended up breaking all the barrels, but not finding a DMR. I heard footsteps, so I crouched and stood still, waiting for this kid to come around and pickaxe him, as luckily he had no gun, but I didn't have a DMR either. I then went up the zip line and started to loot the chests on the mountain, but once again, I could not find a DMR. I then ran to this building here as I saw a chest and there was no DMR. I then ran through the building around to the back and finally found a DMR! Oh my, I was so happy. There was 77 players left and I had not found a DMR yet. It was ridiculous. I used a Nuka-Cola to gain the shield that I had not got. And then I ran around and started breaking trees and rocks to get my materials up. And then I went down the hill to loot the cave in hopes to find something somewhat decent, whether it's heals or another DMR, you know. I didn't find too many heals that I needed, however I did find nitro, and so I swapped 2 shockwaves for 3 nitros. I then left the cave and went on the hunt of finding a player. Let's start the running music. I was then very smart and remembered that the watchtower guy that drops the key card also drops a purple DMR. So I started to fight them so I could get the purple DMR. I don't know how I didn't see the white beam from a sniper scope on top of the roof, but I didn't, and then I ended up getting shot in the back. He then fisted towards me, so I was building out. We were then third partied, and this kid fisted into my box. And as he was right next to me, and I had to wait a few seconds before being able to shoot again, I died. I then decided to land at this little house next to Lavish. Unfortunately, I was conned. I landed in the second floor of the roof. Unfortunately, there was no chests there. There was a kid on the bottom floor, however I luckily used a nitro and was able to just keep running into him without having to shoot at him with the DMR I did not have. But there was a kid outside the kitchen, so I ran out after using a nitro and did the exact same thing by just running into him.
I wanna see you out that door, baby, bye, bye, bye.
I used the mini that I had and then I broke these barrels to get the extra shield. I then ran out of the house and got into a car in hopes of finding a DMR. I got out of the car to loot this house, there wasn't a DMR there, so I ran a bit more and went to this house on the island. Once again, there was no DMR. I'm not being funny, right? But when I play ranked, when I do these challenges, and it's a shotgun only challenge or whatever, I keep finding DMRs constantly. And I just can't find a single one when I'm doing a DMR only challenge. It's ridiculous. And now with 49 players left out of 100, I have finally found a DMR. The storm was coming in, so I quickly used this barrel to get some more shield. I used the nitro and hopped on a zipline to get into zone. I then came into this house and there were more barrels, so I got them as well as looting this chest. I then started breaking trees and rocks to get 500 brick and wood, whilst I was heading over towards Lavish. I then climbed through the window of this house. I looted it up a bit and then hopped back out the window. I then found this DMR and picked it up instead of my fizz, as it was better to have it in case I run out of ammo in my other one. I then heard a kid, so I decided to crouch so I could find out where he was without alerting him that I was there. I walked into the building and was just making my way through, and then I saw a wall, so I placed a stair to get over it. The kid was the other side of this wall, so I shot him once and then shot him again with a headshot and killed him. I then left the building and destroyed some drones in hopes of getting a better DMR. And then I heard a car from inside the house. I briefly hid behind the fountain until I could see the car. I then ran and mantled so he couldn't run into me. Somehow this car actually saved my life because there was a kid camping behind that bush where the wooden wall is. I tagged him 62, however he was finished. And then I got into a fight with this guy. I did shoot at the bot thinking it was a player because it was acting like a player, moving like, shooting like, and it didn't have the red exclamation point above its head. I was in his box and I reset my stair, so I was under it whilst I reloaded my DMR and then I broke out. I could hear him healing, so I went to drop down and break his wall. However, I got shot from the back, so I ran over to the kid and tried to box above them. However, they shockclaved and got away just in time. I boxed up and used 2 minis, then I decided to reload my DMR. I then edited out of my box and built another box and then nitroed and started to run into the build and break them down. I shot the last piece that was holding the build fight up and then ran. I hid behind a hedge and then I cracked this guy 62 as he was running and building himself into a metal box. I then used a nitro and ran into his builds. I ended up breaking his wall and cone. He placed this there, I phased it and shot him. I then started using a big pot and I thought I was being pushed by a player. However, it wasn't a player and it was in fact the bot. I then broke another bot and started running towards zone. There was a car outside the gate of Lavish, so I got into it and started driving into zone. I then drove into restored reels and looted some chests. I then got into a different car and started driving to the fighting I had seen on visualised sound effects. I drove towards him and started looking around for him in the car for a few seconds as I didn't know where he was, and started spraying me with a beam bow, so I went backwards. He blew up my car and then I hid in a bush, so that way I could reload my DMR without being shot at. However, there was another kid now shooting at me as well. He tried fisting towards me. I tried moving out the way so I didn't get damaged, but I still ended up getting damaged. He then fisted away behind me. I went to shoot him and missed, so I started building. I made another box and somehow he shot me through a built wall and killed me. I landed at the chest on this hill in hopes of getting a DMR before going into Sandy and fighting people. Unfortunately, there was only a shotgun and a kid was landing on me, so I used the launch pad and went towards the house at Sandy that has the crates with the guns in them. I ran around the house trying to find a DMR, however I could not find one. I then heard a car when I ran out the building, so I crouched as it went past, hoping it didn't see me. I then started mining trees to get some wood and be able to build if someone was to shoot at me. And then I ran back into Sandy, hoping to find a DMR on the floor somewhere. I then ran to the other side of Sandy, hoping I could find a DMR there. I just ran around these buildings, looting them, hoping to find a DMR, and I just physically couldn't. Why is it when I don't need a DMR, I find millions of them, but when it's the only gun I can use, I can't find any of them? I then went into the big building, hoping to find the DMR. I mean, it's absolutely massive. Surely I can find one, right? In that whole house, not a single DMR. I then leave the house and see two kids fighting, so I crouch behind a rock whilst they finish fighting, and then the other guy runs away. I then go over to the loot and there isn't a DMR there. However, as I go through the bottom of the building and see more loot, there is a DMR there. Now that I had a DMR, I was able to shoot these drones and I was hoping to find another DMR. I then went to look for the kid, but I don't know where he went. He got far very quickly. So I'm assuming he might have used a car or something or had fists. But I couldn't find him, so I was on the hunt for someone else. I then got into this car and I was just driving around looking for somebody that I could kill.
I got my driver's license last week, just like we always talked about.
I then found this Yeti skin built above him. He looked quite body because I dropped down, hit him 109. He was under my stair looking upwards and I hit him 62. I then got back into my car and went through the nitro boost portal thingy. I then drove up past Pleasant, then saw fighting symbols, so I went and pushed it. I then got out of the car and built a wall and stair so I could shoot him whilst being covered. I was trying to shoot him. I tagged the school trooper 60, however got my kill stolen. I went to shoot at the guy that stole my kill, however he boxed up before I could. I then got beamed from the side, so I built and stopped him hitting me. I then edited my box to try shoot him, however I couldn't see him. Whilst doing this, I heard the guy from earlier ramping up towards me. I then placed a ramp so I could go into my cone. Unfortunately, I edited the cone wrong and it ended up breaking and I missed my shot on him. I then boxed up. He was running past my box, so I tried editing to shoot him, but he was too quick and my edits were just too slow. I then edited out and built up towards him. I was above him and I tried coning him, however he was just too quick and he managed to get above me. I tried to mantle, which I should not have done as it put me in an awkward situation and none of it was mine and I ended up dying. This game I decided to go to the new Fall Guys obby, and I was going to complete that so I could do some challenges as well as hopefully get a good DMR from the loot. This was honestly so fun to do. It's just something you wouldn't normally expect in a Battle Royale game, but it's something that makes it slightly more interesting and kills a bit of time to survive. Not sure if it will be in a video or not yet, but I will be redoing this obby in hopes to get the Fall Guys back bling because it's just so cute. After I completed the obby, I came and spoke to the statue. However, I did not get a DMR. I got a big pot, I got a med kit, I got shockwaves, I got minis. Unfortunately, the only guns I got was a blue pump and a blue AR, which I cannot use either of those. I then slid down the slope in hopes to find some chests and find a DMR. I was using my minis on the way down. I opened 2 of the chests and then I couldn't find any DMRs, so I shockwaved away. I then nitroed and shockwaved twice into classy carts. I ran through a window to loot the house in search of a DMR. I could not find one, however, when I ran outside into the car, I found one. I started running out of classy carts and I saw a kid, so I started shooting at him with the DMR. I missed, so I then ran onto a building to try shoot him from a roof and again missed. I shoot at him again and miss again. But he comes up onto the roof, I shoot a shot, miss again, have some builds, hit him 62, build some more, drop on him, hit him again, and then jump around, miss a shot, and then I hit him finally and kill him. I then swapped my bigs for 6 minis. This kid appeared out of nowhere. I missed a bunch of shots on him, he got a few tags on me, and I tagged him 60. We're going to ignore the aim because I am awful with DMRs, I never use them, but eventually I managed to kill him. I then ran around for a bit and then somebody shockwaved towards me. They shockwaved through my build, so I quickly reblocked my box, however they kept spraying and got into my box. I placed a ramp, which they kept breaking. I shot them with my DMR and reset the ramp. And then once I tagged them, they used an impulse and run away. I used this opportunity to use my full fizz and be able to heal back to 100 shield. Unfortunately, they had completely dipped, so I went back into a cart and swapped my basically empty fizz for a fizz with 95 in it. And then I started heading towards zone as Storm was coming in. I decided to go to Reckless Railways. I saw footprints on visualised sound effects, so I came over to this house. I broke the cone in case they were inside it, however they weren't. I then completely peace controlled the first floor just to make sure if they were in there they wouldn't be able to sneak out on me when I went down. I then peace controlled myself down to the basement, but as soon as he saw me building, he full sprayed and cracked all my shield. I was, however, prepared for him to break me down, so when he did, I placed a stair above him after hitting him 60 with the DMR. I then just played with him with my stairs, he kept spraying them, and then I shot him as he broke the stair. I got the rest of the ammo from the basement and then I headed towards zone again. I then went on a run to find somebody else to fight. I ended up getting into this car and just driving around the map trying to find people. My driving skills are absolutely amazing, for real. I was just checking that there was nobody like camping in this car. I saw this guy go behind the roof, so I headed towards it. I went into the water so I could get the double jump things. I was trying to jump onto that stair to go up to the guy, however I failed miserably. I did however land on nitro, so I used one, then picked up the spare ones. I ran into the building and started running up the stairs. Sorry, I started crouching up the stairs. So I jumped onto the roof and started fighting him. It was an awkward fight as there was places you couldn't actually build. However, I managed to basically full box him, and then I edited the wall and tagged him 60 and reset the wall. I then made another box so I was covered in case of any third parties. I reloaded my DMR, then this guy sprayed the wall as someone started fisting to us. He broke the wall and I managed to kill him with the DMR, however I'm on 27 HP. I then edited down through my builds and I used a nitro so I could run off the building quickly without taking fall damage. At this point I was just trying to heal without being seen by this kid. Unfortunately, when you see me freeze before breaking the thing in front of the chest, my dad came into my room and started having a conversation with me. So not only am I fighting this guy with only a DMR, I've also got my dad having a conversation with me in the background, so I'm not locked in. I was crouched as this guy came around the corner. He tagged me. I was on 6 HP. Unfortunately, I missed my shot. However, I did manage to get all the walls as he jumped out, so I was able to escape, go up the building, use a nitro to get up quicker and run away. I then boxed up, however he started to push me, so I extended my box and made another one. He just kept fisting and fisting around my builds. I edited out of my builds and tried to surprise him, however I missed my shot. At this point, I'm still 6 HP. Storm's about to be coming in 30 seconds, so I pop a medkit. I also drink 2 minis as I need shield, and I start using my fizz to get the rest of the 50 shield that I need. I thought the kid had backed off, so I used the nitro and started to run away. However, he quickly surprised me when he came out of nowhere trying to fist me. This part of the fight got awkward because we were fighting in zone. I tried running into zone by getting the green double jump things, however he shot me again. I'm here trying to reload my DMR, but I keep getting tagged and having to build and so on. I finally managed to box up and reload, and he looks like he's running away. I try to shoot him just to see if I can get a tag, however I missed. Unfortunately, I had to rotate this way to get into zone as quick as I could. He was waiting, obviously. However, I managed to tag him 62. I went to shoot him again, but he placed the wall just before I could shoot him, and then he started fisting away. I then go into zone and box up so I can heal because I'm now 40 HP due to zone. However, I start getting sprayed when I'm using my med. I just finished popping my med as he breaks into my box. Unfortunately, it's not enough. This player was so cringe. It was like constantly fighting in Storm, third party and pretending to be gone and then coming back. and then they emoted on it. It wasn't a good kill. They almost died to a person doing DMR only. I'm sorry, it's SS Amy 09, but you're trash, kid. 1v1 me, come on. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a big thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.